Yes. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Microbiotics BioTalk. And I'm your usual host and narrator, Tayo Fasun. So, as you all know, we've been discussing about herbal medicine for the past few weeks, and we are still continuing into the next month. We want to actually look into a lot of useful aspects of this topic before eventually moving on to other topics of importance. So, in one of the last posts I made about herbal medicine, we spoke about phytochemicals, which are the bioactive components of all these medicinal plants. In fact, phytochemicals are referred to as plant chemicals, and then we've realized that they are present in a lot of vegetable fruits and grains, nuts and seed, anything that has to do with plants. These chemicals are present there, and they are the active component that makes medicinal plants effective against all the ailments that they are known to treat. And one of the phytochemicals that we'll be discussing in the next few weeks, one of them is what we refer to as alkaloids, because they are one of the classes of phytochemicals that we have available. Of course, they are naturally occurring substance in plants, and they are present in some plants. They are not present in some. But these alkaloids have been known to show strong biological effects on animals and human and even some organisms in very small doses. And apart from being present in the food and drinks, they are also being used as stimulant drugs. They've been known to show anti-inflammatory effects, anti-cancer effects, and they've been used as analgesic. They've also been used as local anesthetics and even pain relievers. So, of course, some of them are also neuropharmacologic. They affect the neuron system. Some of them are antimicrobial in nature, and a lot. This alkaloid is actually one of the most important phytochemicals that we have, and they are also very useful in diet ingredients. They are useful as supplements, and they are useful also in pharmaceuticals. So, and of course, till date, there are about more than 3,000 alkaloids that are known in over 4,000 different plant species. So you can see that there are lots, and these compounds are produced generally by many plant species, especially the flowering plants. And these plants, they store these phytochemicals inside their system, inside their body, inside the leaves, inside the stem, roots, fruits, and even seed. But it has been shown that the amount being stored in each part of this plant vary in different amounts. So, and of course, initially it was thought that these alkaloids are waste products of plants, but eventually it has been shown that they actually carry out some biological functions for plants. So we have a lot of examples, but before we go to that, we still talk about some of let's quickly talk about some of the effects that they have on even inside the plant. In many plants, most of their functions are unknown, but of course they are known to have bitter tastes. Alkaloids, plants that contain alkaloids are known to have bitter taste, and this is believed to be a kind of defense mechanism against herbivorous animals. So some plants actually use them as natural pesticide. So, and of course, it also the alkaloids also protects them from destructive activities of some insects, so that they won't feed on them. And of course, research has shown that alkaloid is also present in some animal species like poisonous dart frog. But that's a new topic for that's another species completely. That's not a plant species. So alkaloids are extremely useful. They're very useful, and for thousands of years, extracts from plants containing alkaloids have been used as medicine. They've been used as drugs, and these plants owe their effect to the presence of alkaloids. In fact, the first alkaloid to be isolated was morphine. Morphine. A lot of us are familiar with morphine. It was isolated in 1804 from opium poppy in crystalline form. So the class of alkaloids are actually an interesting group of compound. They have a lot of desirable and undesirable effects on animals and human population. They are known to, like I said initially, they are known to be antimicrobial, containing antibacterial effects. And some are known to even be hypnotic and psychotropic. And nowadays, alkaloid, especially those from plants, are still of great interest to organic chemists, biologists, biochemists, and pharmacologists. So let's quickly look at their uses and the type. The well-known alkaloids that we know around us, I've already mentioned one, morphine. And then we now have quinine, we have caffeine, we have ephedrine and nicotine. All this sounds very familiar. That's because they are actually very familiar. We'll be looking at their uses now. So, and because of the anesthetic properties of alkaloids, their use are actually very limited in clinical settings. Morphine is one of the most commonly known alkaloid, and it's being still used for medicinal purpose. It's actually a powerful narcotic drug that is being used to relieve pain, but because of its addictive property, its uses are being very limited. We also have codeine. Everybody knows about codeine. Codeine is a derivative of morphine, and it's also possesses an excellent analgesic activity. Although it's relatively non-addictive, but it's also very, very, very powerful as a respiratory and cardiac stimulant. So we have atropine. Atropine is used to treat low heart rate. We have tubercularine, which is actually used in surgery as a muscle relaxant. We have others as well. Of course, one of the most common type is cocaine. Cocaine is an alkaloid present in a plant referred to as Erythroxylum coca, and is a potent local anesthetics. We know about that. Everybody knows cocaine. So ignobin is also an alkaloid from fungi this time around, and then we have ephedrine, which is known to be used as a blood vessel constrictor. So another powerful drug that will be familiar to you is quinine, which is used. What do you know quinine is used for? You'll have seen it around. It's used as an anti-malaria agent, and of course, it's majorly being used to replace to treat malaria. But unfortunately, it's been replaced by synthetic drug because of its toxicity. So we also have another one, colchicine, which is present in plant and used to treat gout. So these are the common examples that we have around us, and like I said, they are actually present in those ones are the ones used for medicinal purpose. But we also have some that are present in our food and drinks. An alkaloid that is actually very common is the one that is found in coffee. That's caffeine. Yeah, caffeine. So that's another example of alkaloid. And of course, we have one in tomatoes that referred to as tomatine, which is actually used in, I think somebody was mentioning that it's being used in inducing sleep or something. So these are common stuff that's and of course we all know that quinine is also being added to a lot of drinks so that it will give that bitter taste. So we have their uses they are being used as a stimulant as well. Nicotine is an example of an alkaloid that's been gotten from a tobacco, the Nicotiana tobacco, and it's actually a very potent stimulant as well, that is found in a cigarette. It is highly addictive, and just like cocaine, it's also a narcotic drug, which have not been which is not being recommended for medical purpose. So, but because of this, their usage are actually being regulated, because high doses will lead to death. And as you can see, that most of these drugs, most of alkaloids are actually illicit drugs and poison, and people are always being advised to not use them without prescription. So you have to be very careful. We have other uses of them. They are antiparasitic, some of them are antiplasmodial, some of them are anti-corrosive, anti-oxidative. In fact, we have some that are anti-HIV. Yeah, it's been effectively used as in HIV treatment. So we're going to stop here this evening. We're going to look into some specific uses of these alkaloids later in the future. We'll take some of the classes. We observe, we look into their uses, their usefulness, their benefits, and also their demerits to kind of balance the talk. So until next time, make sure you stay safe, and like I mentioned, be very careful about some of these drugs that you take. They are like you've heard that some of them are very, very addictive. So stay safe, everyone. Make sure that you take care of your health. Good night. Some nasty thoughts trying to get to your December. So I jump up in the air. Oh, if I chill out, cannot kill myself.